I'm getting to I'm getting to the end of this. Check this out. I want to get back on topic real quick. And when someone says that that black on black crime and police brutality against blacks are two different topics and they don't collide, they have nothing to do with each other, let me tell you, the two of them collide. They have something in common. And that one thing in common, let's make it two things in common. Violence and hate. That's where they collide. Violence and hate for your own people, and violence and hate from the police force against your people and many other people. That's where they collide. That's where I stand. That's why I say all lives matter. If I'm going to support the movement, that's because we're going down there to fix up a specific city that has been so corrupt and are really gunning down people. It's the violence and the hate that connects everything. And that's the same violence and hate that is destroying cities throughout the nation. So some of you, your opinions is what I'm talking about. You're going to say they're two different topics. My opinion is it's all the same. The way I feel about it, you want change, fits home. Fits home before you go fix your neighborhood. Before you go fix your city or your county or your state or the nation. Some of y'all want to jump to the nation. We got to fix the whole nation. Why don't you fix your house first? Let's start there. Let's get out of this mindset that some people are pushing right now that where they feel like if they spew more hate, that will destroy hate. It's like putting out fire with fire. Let's do more unjust acts so we can bring justice. Let's fuel racism and divide by bringing more racism and divide. Somebody tell me where that makes sense. A good place to start would be in your community. Become a part of that. But I think it's a little deeper than that. I think if you want change, change starts at home. Change starts with the education system. We'll go there first. The history that we're taught is skewed. Literally, the book is white pages and black words. That's literally almost all we're taught. And it drives a very skewed narrative. I get upset because where are my people at in these history books? We don't have that. You get a brief segment of Native Americans, very skewed view of what happened to them or may not have happened to them. Same thing with all the... Get rid of history. Take it out of the school system. If we can't be fair and we can't agree to it and we can't be honest, take it out. It's causing an issue. Let's go back to teaching kids something that's going to make them be successful in life, or at least be able to live. Bring back the home economics classes and teach these kids how to cook a meal. Because parents don't know how to do it nowadays. Teach them finances. That's when teach them finances. Teach them how to manage their money, because parents aren't doing it nowadays. Teach them the constitutional rights and the state laws. Throw out the history and teach them what they need to live by. Teach them our Constitution and our state laws, so when they get out there and they interact with people in the real world, they know what's going on. Teach them about what racism really is, and prejudice and bias. Yeah, they're similar, but they're different. We're quick to call everything racist. Somebody says something about China. Oh, that's racist. China's not a race. It's a nationality. Depending on the way you look at it. I can understand when you say Africa, because Africa is a continent and majority of the people there are black. So I can understand when you're saying, hey, that's racist against African Americans or Africans. I could get that. But let's start educating each other on what these words really mean. Because we've done taken them when we use it for everything. Teach people what race is, what ethnicity is, what nationality is. Because I think we forgot that. Because if somebody says, I really don't care about the people in Mexico. I think, or I think that the Mexicans that are coming over, they should get citizenship or we send it back. And then somebody be like, that's racist. Guess what? Mexico's not a race. It's a nation. Made up of Spaniards and the Central Americans that were there. Change the education system. That's a good place to start. Start teaching these kids better. But you really want to start somewhere and make change? Change at home. See, growing up, the most racist people I ever knew were my own people. For those of you that say that minorities can't be racist,
yes, they can.
you ain't telling me the truth. You're lying to yourself. Stop, take a look, and I'm sorry, maybe if you're too young, you might not get it, but I'm telling you, at 33 years old, some of the most racist stuff I've heard come from my family. I've heard other people's family, parents, grandparents, uncles, say some racist stuff about all types of races. Asians, blacks, whites. It's everywhere. It's not just white people. Just people don't want to be real about it. They don't want to talk about it because some of us other minorities, we like to keep that in the closet because we don't want to be like the white people. So we're secret racist. And black people can't be racist because
they were slaves.
Because you were slaves. You can't be a minority and be racist. But yet, some of the most racist comments I've ever heard have come from black people. And they've made them about Mexican people or white people. You want to change things? Start at home. And while I'm on that subject, about this whole race, it's starting at home, what I think is funny is when we're at home or we're in our communities at school, how we will attack each other, our own people. Light skins out, dark skins in. How do you know you're mixed, or you can't really be in this conversation because you're not full-blooded, or you don't speak the language, you don't follow the family traditions. My favorite, you're whitewashed. Or my new favorite one, you got the whiteness disease. I seen that. What's the whiteness disease? Because you think different than somebody that's similar to you? Because you want to live a better life, you got the whiteness disease? And we do this to each other at home, to our family and our friends and our cousins. So you want to make change? Start at home. Start changing the way you think at home and what you're doing at home. You wanted to make change? Start raising your kids better. Stop letting them play the victim. Stop babying them and giving them everything. Get them off the damn devices and send them outside to go play in the community. Put them in sports. Talk to them, something. But like this young man that I talked to today that wanted to tell me that all minorities are oppressed, that it's hard being a minority because we don't have that privilege that white people do. Man, that comes from the house. That comes from you at home telling your kids that. And if it's not coming from you, then I think you need to check yourself and get involved in your kid's life. Because I'm telling you what I tell my kids, the world is theirs. They've worked hard. Nobody ever told us the majority of this world is going to come into this world and get it easy. That's the very few and select people. The majority of us have to work hard for it. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. Some people want a handout. Change your mindset and start talking to your kids. That's not how life is. And since we're talking about homes, let's be real. Drugs, gangs, split homes, lack of moral foundation, letting your kids, when you do let them run out in the street, you don't watch them. You let them listen to whatever they want, and this music half the time is jacked up, feeding their brain crap. The media plays a part. Movies play a part. Grand Theft Auto plays a part. We just keep feeding them negative, and then want to cry when they're out there on the street and something happens to them. And be real with yourself. If that happened to your kid, like my mom did to me, what were you doing out there? When the police pulled us over, when they profiled us and pulled us over, my mom didn't say nothing to the cops. The first thing she did, she looked at me, what were you doing? Why did they pull you over? And then you gotta explain that to mom or to dad? Speaking of dads, for those of you that ain't in your kid's life, You can't raise good men without fathers in the household. So be a father and be in the household. And if you ain't in the household, you better start making your way back that way. You better start picking your kids up. That's how you raise men. That's what's going to make this better. Stop the violence. Stop it. Stop killing each other. Stop. That's it. There's your solution. Treat each other better. Maybe these cops will treat us better. Stop hanging out like thugs on the street, giving them a reason to mess with you. Maybe they won't mess with you. And then, on the occasions that they do, like this stuff that happened in Minnesota, then your community will be strong. And you'll all be behind each other. And it won't be Black Lives Matter. It'll be that your community matters, and you'll march down there together, and you'll tell them that this was wrong and it needs to change.